There are plenty of questions and very few answers after 4 students at the University of Idaho were found murdered in their off-campus house.
It's not something that you can comprehend in that moment.
Idaho tonight in the chilling homicide investigation, 4 college students found dead.
Authorities now saying an edged weapon, such as a knife, was used in the homicide over the weekend.
It was just a party setting, so everyone was just socializing with each other.
We don't have a full story. We're being told, don't worry, there's not a threat, but we're not being told why.
4 students from the University of Idaho were found dead on November 13th in Moscow, Idaho. It's been weeks, and police still don't know who did it. So, what happened that Saturday night?
Do you think anyone would drink wine?
I'll have some wine.
I didn't even think of it, really, because, I'm not a big drinker, but maybe I should have something.
You're not a big drinker?
Did anybody do their chores today? Fuck, I'm just gonna do it.
5 young women had the kind of lives that kids can't wait to have when they grow up. Students at the University of Idaho decided to move out of campus and into a shared house when they were halfway through their studies. The big 3-story house on a quiet cul-de-sac was an only 15-minute walk from campus, and everyone had plenty of room to be alone. At some point, someone crept into the house while Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend, Chapin, were sleeping. All 4 were stabbed in their beds with an edged instrument, possibly a fixed blade knife according to the police. On the first floor, 2 other housemates were fast asleep and didn't hear a thing. They didn't find out there had been a massacre in their own home until the next day, when they went to wake up their friends. Police scrambled to solve what seems to be a senseless killing of young college students who thought they had their whole lives ahead of them. They have no murder weapon, no suspect, no motive, and hundreds of tips to sort through. Even though authorities told this small college town of 26,000 people at first that there was nothing to worry about, they now say that they cannot say that there is no threat to the community because there are no suspects or leads. There is a lot of talk of how one of the victims may have had a stalker, but the police aren't saying much about it. In the hours before the 4 students were killed, all of the housemates were out having fun on a normal Saturday night in Moscow, Idaho. Both Madison Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves were 21 and had been best friends for a long time. They both went to the University of Idaho after they both graduated from Lake City High School in Idaho in 2019. Madison had a marketing major and was a member of the Phi Beta Phi sorority. She often had more than one job and did very well in school. Kaylee was majoring in general studies in the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences. On Saturday night, they both went to a bar in downtown Moscow called Corner Club to get a drink. After that, they stopped at a food truck that was open late and talked with people in line while they waited for their food.
This chilling video shows lifelong best friends Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogen in their final hours last weekend, ordering late-night food at 2 a.m.
Moscow police say this video is helping investigators recreate a timeline of events from that night.
And it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we know that 2 of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can.
Why haven't they revisited that one person who was at the food truck kiosk downtown? I feel they've cleared everyone way too early in this investigation. So we believe that she's referring to the man in the hoodie at the food truck who was near Maddie and Kaylee.
Yeah, that's the key. You said as far as we know. We don't know what they've done. They know where to find him though.
A rideshare driver took the 2 students home and they got there just before 2 a.m. This driver is no longer a suspect. Once home, Goncalves called her on-again, off-again boyfriend Jake 7 times between 2:26 and 2:52 a.m. But he didn't answer the phone because he was asleep. Police say they don't know why the 2 women were trying to reach him, but in the end, Jake was also ruled out as a suspect. At the time, Chapin and Xana Kernodle, who were both 20, were seeing each other. Ethan was a first-year college student with a major in recreation, sport, tourism, and management. He was also a member of a fraternity. Xana was a junior in college and a member of the sorority Phi Beta Phi. She was also studying marketing. They both went to a frat party in the evening and got home around 1:45 a.m. Autopsy suggests most of the victims were sleeping when their killer struck. The house had an automatic lock that required a code to open. The families of the people who died don't know how anyone got in.
She also said something very significant that none of us knew before, and that was that her daughter, Xana, likely had a lock on her bedroom door. Her mom believes that her bedroom door had a lock. She also said that Xana's dad, Jeff, had just the week before this murder been at that house to fix a lock. Whether it was the lock on the bedroom door or an outside door to the house, that's unclear, but Xana's mom knows that Xana's dad had fixed a lock at that house.
By midday the next day, the housemates on the first floor decided their friends had been sleeping long enough and went upstairs to check on them. There, a frantic 911 call was made to ask for an ambulance to come check on a friend who seemed to have fallen down and passed out. Police Chief James Fry said the 911 call was made using one of the surviving roommates' phones, but he would not confirm the caller's identity. Fry said when the 911 call was made, there were other friends at the house with the two people who were still alive. He said that the police didn't know how many people were in the house when the 911 call was made, and he didn't say when the other friends came.
We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself.
Will there be any possibility of the release of the 911 phone call, even in transcript form?
Not at this time. That's part of our investigation.
Besides the surviving roommates, the other friends that were possibly in that house that night have yet to be publicly named. Authorities say their surviving roommates have been eliminated as suspects, but have no clue why their lives were spared. No valuables were stolen, and no property was damaged. Detectives said that they think the killing was an isolated, targeted act, but they wouldn't say more.
There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. To be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point, because we're not going to release why we think that.
However, police did not clarify that comment or explain how they could make that statement without a suspect. In the weeks since the murders, Idaho authorities have mobilized dozens of police to process 1,000 tips from the public. They have interviewed 150 potential witnesses, collected more than 100 pieces of evidence from the house, and taking more than 4,000 photographs. Since the killer is still at large, many students have decided not to go back to school for the last few weeks of the semester. The father of one of the victims said that he is frustrated by how the police have handled the strange case.
Day after day after day. Every day you just wake up and think today's the day. We're gonna hear something, and you see these, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing games. This is serious. These are people's lives, and this is the future of this community. There's gonna be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't.
Maddie's and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to go up the steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up those steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
Calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
On Wednesday, November 30th, after the Thanksgiving break, students from the University of Idaho came back to campus and held a vigil for the 4 classmates. The families of the victims gave emotional speeches.
Start by saying, my name is Stacy Chapin. I'm Ethan's mom. I'm here tonight with my husband, Jim, Ethan's dad, and his brother, Hunter, and his sister, Maisie, who are also vandals. I think you knew he was a triplet, and they all go here as well. Okay.
I hope to be able to make you laugh, but I'm afraid we're gonna have to cry because we lost 4 beautiful souls. And the 2 that I'm up here to talk about are the ones I knew.
Yeah, you see how good people can be when something terrible happens. They make you feel loved and supported when it's important.
The candlelit vigil was widely attended, not only by students, but by university staff and Idaho Governor Brad Little. Several simultaneous vigils were also held across the state. No arrests have been made in connection with the killings. There is a fear and unease in the town because the suspect is still out there. As police follow up on leads, people who know and cared about the young housemates wait for answers that may never come.
A white Hyundai Elantra now at the center of the Idaho murder investigation.
But finding that car caught on surveillance has been a challenge.
It may be a big break in the case, a grainy image of a speeding car that could be the white Hyundai Elantra police are looking for. A night manager at this gas station in Moscow, Idaho, discovered surveillance video that showed a white sedan driving by on the night the 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. The timestamp says 3:45 a.m., right in the time frame in which police say the killings took place.
Last point of confusion that I really want to talk about tonight with the experts. The actions of the roommates or whoever else was in the house in the aftermath. How did they not hear anything? What happened when they did wake up? Did they call friends to come over before contacting police? What is the part about someone reporting someone unconscious? Was that a misapprehension or a misunderstanding about one of the victims? Or is it that one of the roommates passed out from what they saw in the house and that someone else was reporting that roommate who survived as having been unconscious? Those are the reports that we need to suss out.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe and check out this next video where we highlight another tragic case involving another group of friends.